Welcome to SVG-TV News of Friday, July 22nd, 2016. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. More attention must be paid to the working environment of teachers if they are expected to deliver quality education. That was the view expressed by Oswald Robinson, president of the SVG Teachers Union, as he delivered closing remarks at the Teachers Summer Training Program earlier today. Robinson further stated that the Teachers Union is a professional organization that is trying to change the perception of the organization from one which seems to squabble over pay to one which is geared towards the overall development of teachers and students.
We have been doing our part to ensure that we professionalize the teaching profession. And this is something that we need to keep foremost in our minds, to have that perception of the Teachers Union. We have many young teachers here, and some of you may enter the profession with a mindset that the trade union or the Teachers Union is only about fighting for salaries and so on and so forth. But we want you to have a better view that the Teachers Union is here to help you to grow professionally so that you'll be able to deliver quality teaching.
Robinson also challenged the authorities to provide teachers with a safe working environment that is also conducive to learning, as these are critical factors in ensuring the delivery of quality education.
The business of the Teachers Union is a different kettle of fish altogether when it comes to the trade union industrial relation issues. I have been overseas, but I've been monitoring what is happening in Kanawan. You know, we pronounce the Kanawan government school structurally unsafe based on the advice of the experts. And I saw people digging out the walls and plastering and patching. This is unacceptable. You need to tell us exactly what you're doing, because the health and the safety of our children and our teachers is something that this union, under my leadership, is not going to take slightly. When we do things, we have to do it properly. People's lives are at stake. If the working conditions are not favorable, it's going to have an impact on your ability to produce quality.
In his delivery, Alan Walk, representative of the Canadian Teachers Federation, commended teachers for their commitment to the recently concluded Summer Institute program and voiced his confidence in their ability to utilize the knowledge gained to improve their teaching skill.
You have come back day after day, sometimes from great distances, to take part in these training sessions. And by doing so, you show a commitment to improve your practice in the classroom. By collecting new ideas and by learning new strategies, you will now assess better. You will differentiate better. You will teach better. And you will be better. You are here to be better than you were last year, or last term, or last month. Just before I close, I would like to acknowledge the hard work that has been done by the co-tutors from the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union and the Canadian Teacher Federation. The partnership was strong, productive, and mutually beneficial.
Executive Director of the SVG Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Anthony Regisford, has stressed the importance of the proper implementation of the policies and frameworks of the CARICOM single market and economy. During his presentation at the CSME Private Sector and Rural Communities Workshop, Regisford said the improper follow-up of these policies could leave citizens, businesses, and even governments at a serious disadvantage.
If we don't have those logistics sorted out, then the whole concept of CSME is going to flop. No ifs or buts about that. We can have it on paper, but if those things are not there, the infrastructure is not there to support the concept, then we're spinning top and mud. So from a chamber perspective, I would like to see, yes, opportunities given to businesses, but I would also like to see the logistics in place. Connectivity is another issue in terms of technology and how we do business. And we have to have the legislation in place to support business transactions via electronic means. This is another big thing.
The Chamber Executive also made mention of his organization's interest in having more vibrant businesses established within rural communities, so as to assist in the process of developing the nation's economy.
I know that when we look at such activities, people automatically think of the agro-processing area, we think of the agricultural sector, because traditionally this is what rural communities have been flagged as. That is with good reason. But I just want to add that we must not only focus, when we talk about rural communities, we must not only focus on the agro sector. While it is important, I think that overall, if we find ways of innovating within the rural communities and coming up with activities that make those communities sustainable, economically viable, then we would be onto a good thing.
Former Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Sir James Mitchell, in a telephone interview with SVG-TV on the topic of tourism, highlighted that monopoly in the air transport sector is stifling tourism and is calling for the opening of the skies so that more airlines can come to the Caribbean.
This hotel business, in instance, is now suffering a great deal because of poor air communications. And that's another issue of how we are going to open up opportunities for more aircraft to fly into St. Vincent. And for us to have open skies and have some more progress in the tourism sector and in the hotel sector.
The former Prime Minister called for better policies to ensure that the tourism industry develops.
I'm in the business in Backway, and I know what difficulties we face, and I know how awful the situation is with regard to the development of our tourism and the present decline in tourism and the policies that are needed to improve tourism, not just criticizing and saying what is wrong. What are the policies we require to improve the profitability of hotels in our country?
Opposition Member of Parliament and Representative for Central Kingstown, St. Clair Leacock, has called the recent Article 4 report from the IMF reckless and disgraceful. Leacock made these comments earlier this week while on the New Times radio program. He also stated that such reports are too often written in a language which allows for continued government mismanagement. Leacock labeled the report as laughable and added that it was written in a way so as not to be offensive to the government.
Not a language that offends the government. In fact, if their reports are not acceptable to the government, they can't publish them, unless the government approve the release of the publications. So they're virtually held hostage. So anytime you see these releases are out, it has something to say that is in favorable to the government. If you take the current report from the IMF, and your word is quite accurate, it is laughable. The IMF makes a prediction that the economy will perform well this year in 2016 because the Argyle Airport will come into being. Now, there you are in the United States of Liu, and you can know that no airport will function and operate this year. Yet you have an international body making a projection on the strength of something that doesn't exist.
Leacock opined that the IMF had ignored many negative issues presently affecting the economy of SVG, and as a consequence, their report was reckless and irresponsible.
Have carefully stepped over the sewer. That is bananas. The 15% decline over 15 years of tourism. The fiasco that is Leah. That our construction is a non-tradable sector.
Right.
That manufacturing is struggling.
Right.
That the offshore finance sector has virtually disappeared and hold on to a ghost of opportunity, namely the Argyle, which will not function this year, or geothermal, which is not functioning,
Right.
as the center post
Right.
for economic development. Now, how reckless and irresponsible we can be? Because these people say in the ivory air-conditioned towers that has no reality to the country that they came from.
Exactly.
I actually have said to myself, I wonder when I should sit in a meeting again with them. Because it is disgraceful what part.
Drama Development Officer at the Ministry of Tourism, Sports and Culture, Martin Kwashi, has expressed the view that the actors in Hollywood are not better than Vincentians. In an exclusive interview with SVG-TV, Kwashi noted that they simply have more opportunities. SVG-TV's Chelsea Jackson, who spoke with him regarding the ministry's annual drama festival, has more in this story.
The Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines Theatre Arts Festival celebrates 11 years of existence this year after having transitioned from just a community drama festival to what it is now. Drama Development Officer Martin Prince Yugi Kwashi spoke about the immense improvement in drama that he has witnessed, especially in the areas of writing and directing as well as the acting. He then went on to express his elation towards the festival as it provides exposure for the youths who perform at the festival.
Well, as it is now, I like it because of the opportunity for actors and actresses to move forward and develop, right? Because it's, as I said before earlier on, we have transferred the power from the Department of Culture to the groups for them, so they now have to take charge of whatever they do. Training of the actors, the actresses, and producing the festival, looking for sponsors, and so. And that's the only way you can move forward, if you let the people do the work. It's as if they are in a university doing a degree or something, and they have to do this project every year. So they have to go around and make sure that their play is written early, it is being analyzed, and all that. So it's very, very important that we do those. Because if they just go and just, just tell them, okay, come and do a play, and they just go and do a play, most of the time there are no work being put into the production, because the Department of Culture would have done most of their work for them. What I wanted to do is not to have lazy theatre people, but for them to get up and do work, so that, after a while they will be very professional at what they do because of the experience they have doing all of these work.
Kwashi, however, lamented the fact that the primary limitation to the festival is a lack of appreciation from people who are supposed to love the arts. He, however, gave credit to SVG Television for being one of the very few organizations that showcase local talent.
Well, I'd just like to ask the Vincentian people to support their own. It's very important that you support your own. When you support your own, you give the people some energy, the firepower, the fuel to move forward, because they would like it. They would feel the energy and the warmth of your love when you embrace them. Like the singers, the dub artists, the rap artists, the dancing people, the actors, the actresses. When you support them and tell them, yes, you have potential, and if you continue, you will reach far. They want to hear those kind of things, not you're trying a thing. And I don't like that. We have to change our mentality and be very nationalistic. And once you become very nationalistic, then you support your own, like the other countries.
The groups that will perform this year are the Police Drama Club, the Division of Nursing Performing Arts Society, DUNPAC, St. Vincent and the Grenadines Division of Arts, Sciences and General Studies Performing Arts Society, and the Carpe Diem Society. Reporting for SVG-TV Evening News, I am Chelsea Jackson.
Community activist Andrew Liverpool believes that if Vincentians fail to drastically change their attitude towards caring for the environment, this nation will continue to suffer from the impacts of environmental issues. Speaking on the Headstock program on Sunday, July 17, 2016, which discussed environmental issues and their impact on the Vincentian environment, especially during the rainy season, Liverpool called for Vincentians to take more responsibility for their actions. He noted the need for persons to not only realize that poor behavior and action have consequences, but that they should be held accountable for those poor choices.
We need to change this attitude where sometimes when you're simple, you can't make sense. You have to look a kind of sophisticated and even self what you're doing is wrong for the society or the community. Persons go along. We cannot afford, to me, in what for my years in community work, to go along that way. If we don't have a drastic change in terms of, all right, you have in public education, that's one aspect of it. You have to enforce, that's another aspect. You have to have social justice. It can't be enforcing it for Tom, but Harry ain't getting anything. Because after a while, people say, well, if you ain't doing it for me, this man, I ain't doing it neither.
Liverpool further pointed out that there was also a need for a tighter framework within governmental agencies for dealing with environmental issues.
Person might say they're only responsible up to here, but the other part needs to be taken by another government agency, and somewhere between that is where the person has the area to play with, so that things don't be implemented. Well, I think from based on where we are and a discussion like this, there needs to be like a starting point, so that to say like from Monday that we all need citizens, the government machinery, the NGOs, that we need to start. Not for no tourists, if we're saying that tourism is what bringing the most economic on into St. Vincent again. Outside of the economics, is we who stay in here, eating here, sleeping here. So we need to protect it.
Vincentian René Baptiste has been re-elected Speaker of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States House of Assembly. Baptiste was elected as first Speaker of the OECS House of Assembly at its inaugural meeting in August 2012, while former Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party Senator, now Ambassador to Mexico, Gail Christian, was elected as Deputy Speaker. Baptiste, who has been an attorney for some 35 years, was a former government minister and was first elected to the St. Vincent and the Grenadines House of Assembly in 2001. She retired from active politics in 2010. The University of the West Indies, in conjunction with Legalese SVG Incorporated, will host another lecture on Thursday, July 28th at the UWI Lecture Hall from 7 p.m. The featured speaker for this year's Emancipation Lecture is Joseph Ewart Lane, a Grenadian revolutionary who will be speaking on the Grenada Revolution, the insights and lessons for small island states. He will share first-hand experience on the making and impacts of the Grenada Revolution on Grenada and the region. The general public is invited to attend what is expected to be a very enlightening presentation. Darren Kennedy, a young businessman who operates a business in the Rose Place area, has been arrested and charged for discharging a loaded firearm at Rose Place on July 16th. Kennedy, who was granted bail in the sum of $10,000 with one surety, has been ordered to report to the police station on Mondays until his matter is heard. A jail term of 22 months was handed down on Justin Hustler for having 12 rounds of .22 ammunition in his possession without the relevant license. The police, acting on information, intercepted Morgan behind the fish market in Beckway, and upon carrying out a search of Morgan and his possessions, discovered the ammunition in a backpack that Morgan was carrying.